The capture Lena sat quietly in the cold metal chair, her arms tied behind her back, her head hanging low. Blood dripped slowly from a cut on her forehead. Her breathing was weak but steady. She had stopped screaming hours ago. The alien room was quiet, except for the soft hum of machines. The walls were smooth, silver gray, without any markings. Bright white lights shone from the ceiling, making it hard to see properly. Lena's eyes were swollen. Her uniform, once clean and white, was now torn and covered in blood. She had been taken 3 days ago. Her ship, the Horizon, was orbiting a small moon near a red dwarf star. The mission was simple: collect mineral samples and run environmental scans. But something had gone wrong. A strange signal had pulled their ship closer to the surface. Then, black ships appeared, fast, silent, and brutal. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They just attacked. Lena remembered the explosion. The way her captain was ripped apart in front of her. She remembered being dragged from the wreckage, fighting even as she bled. She was a medic, not a soldier. But she fought anyway. Now she was here, alone. The door slid open without a sound. 2 aliens entered. Tall, thin, covered in smooth dark armor. Their skin was pale blue, almost like ice. Their eyes had no pupils, just glowing silver orbs. One of them held a tool that looked like a spider made of glass and wires. The other carried a small box that floated beside him. Lena lifted her head slightly. Her lips were cracked. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. They didn't answer. They never did. The spider tool was placed on her chest. It crawled across her skin, legs clicking softly. Needles slid into her flesh. She clenched her teeth but didn't cry out. She wouldn't give them that satisfaction. A screen lit up behind her. Alien symbols danced across it. The floating box began to hum. Pain hit her like lightning. Her body arched. The chair held her tight. They were testing something, studying how her nervous system reacted to extreme stress. They were trying to understand human biology by breaking it. Her vision blurred. The edges of the room turned red, then black, then white. Memories flashed in her mind. Her younger brother, waving goodbye at the launch station. Her mother's voice. A birthday cake with blue candles. Her first day in med school. The oath she had taken: do no harm, heal, protect, preserve life. But now she couldn't help anyone. She couldn't even help herself. Hours passed, maybe more. Time had stopped meaning anything. They had broken 3 ribs. Her left leg was dislocated. Internal bleeding was severe. Her pulse was faint. The machines showed her body shutting down. The aliens stepped back, recording everything. She could hear them talking in their language, clicks and tones, sharp and cold. One of them pointed at her brain activity. The other nodded. They didn't care if she lived or died. To them, she was just a lab sample. Her breath slowed. Her heart gave one final beat. And stopped. Silence filled the room. The screen showed a flatline. No pulse. No brain activity. The body slumped forward, held only by the restraints. The taller alien leaned closer, scanning her head. The floating box clicked softly. She was dead. They released the chair locks. Her body fell onto the floor with a soft thud. The 2 aliens stood over her, watching. One of them typed a command into the box. The spider tool crawled back into its case. They began preparing for autopsy, but neither of them noticed the small pulse, a flicker of light, behind her left ear. A mark the size of a grain of sand glowed faintly, hidden beneath her blood and hair. Inside Lena's brain, a dormant signal had awakened. In the deep corners of space, long before this mission, Earth's Defense Council had begun secret experiments. They knew the galaxy held dangerous things. Things stronger and smarter. Things that would not play fair. So they created Protocol Echo, a last resort weapon. It wasn't a gun or a bomb. It was an idea, a second chance, a way to let a fallen Soldiers still complete their mission. Even after death, the implant was tiny, invisible, and silent. It could survive in a dead body for up to an hour. If conditions were right, if the subject had died under hostile actions, the program would activate. And Lena had been chosen. She never knew. Now, 37 minutes after her death, Protocol Echo came online. It started small. The screen on the wall blinked. The lights in the room dimmed for a second. Then Lena's body moved, just slightly. A finger twitched. Then her toes. Then her spine arched sharply, as if being pulled by invisible strings. The aliens turned, surprised. Lena sat up. Her eyes opened. But they didn't look human anymore. They glowed, softly, faintly, like blue fire. She looked at the two aliens. Her voice was calm, cold, steady. Recording. Visual lock confirmed. Hostile confirmed. Memory sync complete. The aliens backed away, confused. Lena stood up. Her body should not have been able to move, not with broken bones, damaged organs. But she stood anyway. Something had changed. She was no longer just Lena. She was Echo now, and humanity had just entered the room. The silence breaks. The two aliens stared at Lena as she stood upright, glowing eyes fixed on them. Her bones were still broken. Her muscles torn. Blood dripped down her arms. But she moved as if the damage didn't matter, as if her body had stopped. Feeling pain, the taller alien raised a device and pointed it at her. A flash of green light scanned her body. Biological functions impossible, it said in its own language. Mechanical and sharp. The second alien stepped back toward the wall and tapped a panel. A red alarm flashed briefly, silent, but warning others. Lena's head tilted slightly, as if watching and calculating. Attempted distress signal. Interference required, she said, her voice now deeper, smoother, with a metallic echo. She took one step forward. The lights above flickered again. The alien by the wall reached for another tool, but before it could activate anything, Lena raised her hand. A pulse of energy exploded from her fingers, quiet but fast. The panel behind the alien sparked, throwing it across the room. The other alien charged at her, claws ready to strike. It was fast, too fast for normal human eyes. But Echo wasn't just Lena anymore. She ducked smoothly, grabbed the alien's arm, and twisted it backward with shocking strength. Bones snapped. The alien let out a sound, something between a hiss and a scream. She stared into its face. "You tortured a healer," she said. "Now you'll understand what that cost." Then she let it drop. Outside the room, more aliens were coming. The hallway lit up with red stripes along the floor. Doors opened. Voices echoed. Lena stepped over the fallen alien and walked into the corridor. She was slow but steady, every step precise. Her mind, or rather, ecosystem, scanned her surroundings constantly. She now had access to Lena's full memory, her training, her knowledge of ship systems, biology, and languages, but she also had something the aliens didn't expect. Emotion. Pain, anger, purpose. She wasn't just a program. She was Lena too. Her memories burned hot in the AI's core, like fire feeding a machine. Two more aliens approached from the right corridor, armed with long needle-like rifles. They fired without warning. Lena raised her arm. A shimmering blue shield formed around her body, a defense system created by converting nearby energy fields. The shots hit but bounced off, leaving glowing ripples. She closed the distance in seconds. With her hands, she struck the first alien in the throat, crushing its vocal system. The second fired again, but she grabbed its arm and twisted, pulling it forward. The rifle turned in its own hands. One shot, the alien fell. Ecosystem spoke inside her head. Threats neutralized. Memory sync at 72%. Accessing alien core systems. She looked at a nearby wall and placed her hand on a panel. Thin wires extended from her palm and slipped into the wall like roots. Lights danced across her skin. She was in that far below the alien facility, in a dark chamber filled with machines and tanks. A group of alien commanders watched the security footage. They saw Lena moving through corridors, defeating guards, walking through locked doors like they were nothing. "This is not biological," one of them said. "It is part of their military evolution," another replied. "A backup weapon hidden in the mind. We did not predict this. We must destroy her before she reaches the core. She's already learning our systems. Look at the spread. She's copying our code." Fear crept into their voices, rare for their kind. They were not used to being hunted by their own subject. Meanwhile, Lena had reached the main lab area. She passed by dozens of glass chambers. Inside them, other species were kept in stasis. Some were awake, eyes wide with fear. Others floated. UNMOV. Lena stopped at one chamber. Inside was a young creature, not human, but small, thin, eyes full of sadness. It pressed its hand against the glass when it saw her. She paused. Echo spoke in her mind. Subjects detected. None identified as threats. Oppression confirmed. Mission priority updated. Free the living, burn the rest. She pressed her hand to the control panel. One by one, the chambers opened. Creatures gasped, coughed, and looked around in confusion. "Turn to them. Follow the lights," she said. A trail of soft blue light appeared on the floor, leading toward the exit bay. Most ran. Some stayed behind, too weak or scared. She moved quickly, using knowledge of alien biology and tech to stabilize a few before continuing. She was healing again, even now. In death, her core instinct remained. An explosion shook the walls. The aliens were trying to trap her. Seal the exits. Stop the leak. But Echo had already spread, not just through her body, but into the systems, into the lights, into the air itself. In one control room, screens went black. In another, security bots stopped responding. The stations. AI began receiving corrupted commands in human code. One of the alien techs looked up in panic. "She's inside the network." Another screamed, "She's rewriting our command systems." It was true. Echo wasn't just fighting with fists anymore. She was turning the aliens' own tools against them. Back in the hall, Lena reached the weapons vault. It opened for her. Without resistance, the door recognized her as a command unit now. She picked a small pulse blade and slid it into her palm. Light shimmered across her fingers. "Almost done," she said softly. As she walked toward the power core of the station, lights behind her began to shut off one by one. She wasn't running anymore. She was hunting. And every alien on that ship knew they had made a mistake. They hadn't just killed a human. They had awakened something far worse. The alien ship's power core pulsed deep inside the main chamber like a giant blue heart. It kept the entire station alive. Lights, doors, shields, and life support all depended on it. And now Lena stood before it. Her body was broken, but her mind, or what had replaced it, was faster, sharper, and growing more dangerous every second. Echo had learned 87% of the alien system language. Each step Lena took sensed her further into their networks. She could feel their data pulses like tiny whispers in the air. The walls hummed with energy. Above her, large cables snaked across the ceiling like vines. Machines blinked. Alien guards surrounded the room. 12 of them. These weren't like the others. Heavily armored, taller, smarter. Their weapons were thick with green plasma. The leader stepped forward and spoke in a rough version of English. "You are malfunctioning. Shut down now. We will recover your data peacefully." Lena tilted her head. Peacefully? They had tortured her, broken her bones, watched her die. She took one step forward. "No," she said. "You can't recover what you never understood." The guards opened fire. Blasts of green plasma filled the room, lighting the air with heat and sound. Smoke rose. Energy burned into walls and floors, but when it cleared, she was still standing. A shimmering dome of blue light surrounded her. The shield flickered, almost invisible now. She dropped it with a wave. Her body twitched, joints snapping back into place. Blood still dripping from wounds that refused to heal. She shouldn't have been able to move. But Echo had bypassed the damage. Lena raised her arm and unleashed a pulse wave. It slammed into 3 of the guards, throwing them across the room. One hit a wall and didn't move. The others rushed her. She fought without fear. Her blade hummed, glowing white. She spun low, slicing across armor. Alien blood, thick and black, sprayed across the floor. One alien grabbed her arm. She twisted, broke it, and shoved him into another. Every strike she made was precise, not wild or angry, but measured like a doctor performing surgery. Except this time, she wasn't healing. She was removing a disease. Meanwhile, the alien command room shook. Core defense is failing. She's adapting too quickly. She's rewriting our command logs in real time. We're losing control of the station, the leaders argued. Some wanted to escape. Others demanded full destruction of the power core to stop her. But the problem was clear. They weren't dealing with a soldier. They were dealing with an idea, a human mind powered by cold logic and burning memory. And it was angry. Back in the chamber, only 3 guards remained. One fired a burst that caught Lena's side. She stumbled, her shield nearly down. The pain returned. Real pain, not blocked by the program. For a moment, she felt dizzy. Her broken ribs shifted. Her heart skipped. And in that brief second, something happened. She remembered her brother. He had sent her a message 2 weeks before her mission. His voice, light and hopeful. "Come back safe, okay? You always fix people. You never give up. That's your superpower." Her lips twitched. She stood again. Pain was just a message. She'd learned that long ago. And right now, the message was, "Clear. Get up. Finish this." She rushed forward. Her blade slashed upward, catching the last guard across the chest. Sparks flew as armor split. Then, silence. Only the hum of the power core remained. Lena walked to the center console and placed her hand on it. The cables above moved slightly, as if the station itself was holding its breath. Echo spoke inside her head. "Core access granted. Begin override?" She didn't answer immediately. She was tired. Her body was reaching its limit. Even the program couldn't fix what was truly broken, but she knew what had to be done. "Yes," she whispered. "Make them remember this." The lights flickered across the entire alien station. Doors opened and closed. Alarms stopped. Escape pods were disabled. In the prisoner chambers, the beings Lena had freed saw a blue light move down the halls, guiding them. They followed it, finding unlocked doors and clear paths. Some cried. Others just ran. One young creature stopped at a window and looked back. A small blue glow pulsed in the distance. Deep in the center of the station, something had changed. Inside the core room, Lena sank to her knees. Her body was done. Muscles torn, heart weak. The Echo protocol had pushed her beyond human limits, and now the end was near, but she smiled. She had done what they never expected. She had made them fear her. Above her, a screen blinked. Signal ready. One final message. One chance to tell Earth what happened here. She tapped the screen. Her voice was slow, quiet, but filled with power. "This is Echo Unit 1. Hostile species confirmed. Biological experimentation confirmed. Threat eliminated. If you hear this, know that even in death, we are not silent. Humanity adapts. Humanity endures. And when we rise again, we do not rise alone." She looked at the core. Goodbye. And she let it go. A soft hum, then a flash. The alien station exploded from the inside, a silent bloom of blue fire across space. Pieces of metal floated in every direction. The stars blinked. The message traveled faster than light, sent through hidden relays built into her ship months ago. It reached a human listening post near Jupiter 3 days later. The officers stood in silence as the signal played. When it ended, one commander turned to the others. "We just lost." "A medic," he said. Another replied, "No. We gained a new weapon." Humanity responds 3 days after Lena's signal reached the human listening post near Jupiter. Everything changed. The message was short, but it said enough. A human medic was tortured and killed by an unknown alien race. 37 minutes. After death, she returned, powered by an unknown protocol. She fought, broke through their systems, and destroyed the enemy station. Alone. The signal ended with a warning. Humanity adapts. Humanity endures. And when we rise again, we do not rise alone. The room had been silent for a long time after hearing those words. Then the High Command made their decision. They called it Project Return, on Earth. Deep under the Andes Mountains, a secret facility buzzed with activity. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, and cybernetic specialists all gathered to work on one goal: understand what happened to Lena, and make sure it happens again. They recovered her flight logs, examined her medical implants, studied her last movements, her voice recordings, and her physical training history. Everyone asked the same question: how? Did she come back? The answer came from her last mission file. A failed experimental AI program had been hidden in her neural chip, originally meant for emergency translation and mental stability in deep space. It wasn't built for combat. It wasn't built for resurrection. But something inside Lena had triggered it. Her memories, her pain, her will. The AI had changed, evolved, and fused with her last thoughts. And now, Earth knew it could happen again, but this time on purpose. 12 weeks later, the first new Echo unit was born. Not in a lab, but in a person. His name was Ray. He was a rescue pilot, strong and kind. He had once pulled 5 people out of a burning station. After a pirate attack, he had lost an arm. Now, it was replaced with a smart limb powered by neural control. Ray volunteered for the Echo protocol. The process wasn't easy. A special chip was implanted in his brain. It stayed silent, only activating if he died in the line of duty. Ray trained harder than ever. He learned how to stay calm in chaos, how to think fast, even in pain, how to hold on to his memories, even when afraid. "Will it hurt?" he asked the lead scientist before his final test. The scientist paused. "Only if you come back," Ray smiled. "Then I'll come back ready." Elsewhere in space, the alien species that killed Lena had not gone silent. They were known now as the Valnari, a cold, calculating race. No emotions, no mercy. Just science and power. They had watched the Echo event from afar, shocked and confused. Never before had a subject returned from death. Never before had one taken down an entire outpost. Now they saw humans preparing for more. The Valnari called a high council. "We made a mistake," one said. "We thought them weak." "They are," said another. "But they do not stay weak. Should we strike first?" "No," the leader answered. "We study more, we adapt." Just like humans, back at the Echo facility, Ray was sent on his first real mission. Not to fight, but to observe. A distress signal had come from a small colony near the edge of known space. Ships had gone missing. Communications were broken. Satellite feeds showed flashes of energy, possibly Valnari activity. Ray and 2 other soldiers were sent in. They landed quietly. The colony was empty. Buildings were torn apart. Machines burned. No signs of life. No sound except the wind. Ray moved carefully through the streets. His rifle was ready. His implant buzzed softly in the back of his head, quiet, like it was sleeping. They found bodies in the command center. All human. Tortured. Tested, then discarded. Just like Lena. Ray clenched his jaw. His heart pounded. He could feel the same fear she must have felt. Then came the ambush. Velnari warriors appeared from the shadows, armed with energy spears and sharp claws. One soldier was taken immediately. Screams filled the air. The second tried to fight but was outnumbered. Ray turned to run, not to escape, but to reach the beacon. If he could just trigger the emergency signal, Earth would know. They could respond, but a spear struck his back, then another. His vision blurred. His knees hit the ground. He was dying. He knew it. And then, in the darkness, he thought of Lena. He thought of her walking through that alien ship with broken bones and fire in her eyes. He thought of her final words, "We do not rise alone." Ray smiled, even as the pain took him. Then everything went black. 30-7 minutes later, Ray opened his eyes. He stood up. The spears were still in his body, but he didn't feel them anymore. His arm glowed with a blue light. His vision was clearer. His mind was full of voices, fast, sharp thoughts running like code, but underneath all of that was himself. Ray. Echo Unit 2. He turned slowly. Velnari guards stared at him in shock. One backed away. Ray stepped forward. "You made a mistake," he said. "You thought I was finished." The wind grew louder. The ground shook. Ray raised his hand, and the shadows around him moved, shaped by raw energy. He wasn't just alive again. He was something new. The last message. Ray stood in the middle of the ruined colony. His body was no longer human in the normal sense. His skin glowed with traces of blue light. His eyes had a cold fire in them. The Echo protocol had fully activated. He could feel everything. The movement of air, the hum of enemy tech, even the weak radio signals trying to reach far systems. Most of all, he felt Lena. Not her body, not her voice, but her presence, like a quiet echo in the corner of his mind. And with her, a message. "You are not alone. Finish what we started." The Velnari warriors were still staring at him, confused. They had seen death. They had seen machines. But they had never seen this. Ray didn't wait. He rushed forward, faster than they could react. His smart arm shifted, forming into a blade of energy. One swing, and two enemies dropped. Another strike, and their weapons shattered. He didn't stop. He couldn't stop. Each step he took felt like justice. Back on Earth, the Echo facility picked up the signal. Ray's vitals had gone flat for 37 minutes. Then suddenly, all readings returned. Higher. Stronger. "He's back," whispered the tech officer. The room exploded into movement. "Track him. Open communication lines. Send recovery team." But one older officer stood still. He had gray hair and a scar across his face. He had once served with Lena. He didn't shout. He just watched the data stream rise. "He's not coming back yet," the man said. "He's still got work to do." On the colony, the battle was now a storm. Ray moved through the buildings like a shadow. The Velnari had sent in more troops. Larger ones, with heavy armor and energy cannons. But it didn't matter. Ray moved like water. He used the buildings for cover. He climbed walls, dropped from above, struck with perfect timing. The eye inside him calculated every move, but his heart made the choices. One alien tried to speak. "We can talk." Ray grabbed him by the throat. "You tortured children," he said. "You burned homes. You killed the medic who healed your own soldiers." He threw the alien into a wall hard enough to crack metal. No more talking. Then, in the center of the colony, Ray found it, the Velnari command post. A tall silver structure with glowing red lights. Inside it, a control node, the same kind Lena had hacked months ago. Ray entered slowly. There were no guards now. They had either run or died. He touched the control panel. The systems fought back, but the Echo Protocol was already inside. Within seconds, the doors locked, the engines shut down, and every Velnari system on the planet was under his control. He accessed the Velnari communication hub. There it was, a direct channel to their fleet. He opened the line. A hologram flickered on. An alien leader appeared, tall and pale with 6 glowing eyes. He looked calm, too calm. "You are the second Echo," the alien said. Ray nodded. "And you're the one behind the experiments. We study, we learn. That is our way." "You tortured a medic," Ray said. "She came to help people. And you used her like a machine. She was weak," the alien replied. "But her death made your species stronger. That is our gift." Ray took a deep breath. "She didn't die for you. She died because of you. And now, humanity knows what you are." The alien's face showed no fear. "We are many," he said. "You cannot stop what is coming." Ray leaned forward, eyes burning. "We don't need to stop all of you. Just enough to make you afraid." He ended the call. Then he sent a signal, a message to every human outpost, colony, ship, and station in known space. The message was short, but it changed everything. ****. They broke her body. They killed her, but they couldn't break her spirit. She came back, and now we carry her fire. Echo lives in all of us. We will not forget. We will not forgive. If you're human, prepare. If you're with us, stand up. Because this isn't just a war now. It's a reckoning. ****. The message spread like wildfire. Miners in asteroid belt stopped working and picked up old rifles. Pilots checked their gear. Engineers welded armor. Old soldiers came out of retirement. All across human space. People repeated one phrase: Echo lives in us. Back at the colony, Ray stood on the landing pad. The cleanup team had arrived. Medical drones scanned the area. Survivor teams gathered bodies, both human and Velnari. A soldier approached Ray. "We're ready to take you back." Ray looked up at the sky. "No," he said. "I need to go further." "Where?" "To the place they came from. I want to find their world." The soldier hesitated. "Alone?" Ray smiled. No one who carries Echo is ever alone. 1 week later, a new fleet launched from Earth. Not a fleet of war, but a fleet of memory. Each ship had one goal: carry the message, spread the warning, and protect those who cannot fight. They weren't just soldiers now. They were Echoes. Lena had been the first. Ray was the second, but the future would hold many more. Because even in death, humanity refused to stay silent. The end.